everyone, I'm Brittany from Brittany Loves Reading, and today I'm going to tell you my picks for the 2023 Buzzword Readathon. Buzzword is a readathon hosted by Books and Lala. Last year was the first year that I fully participated in Buzzword. I discovered BookTube in 2020. I think that's when a lot of people discovered BookTube, but by the time I had discovered it, half of Buzzword was over. So I just kind of made a mental note to do it in 2021. I did, I had a great time, and this year I'm gonna let you know what my choices are ahead of time. Last year I did this too. I didn't make a video because I didn't have a channel yet, but I did pick all of my buzzwords when the announcement video came out as a way of basically making myself read at least 12 books that were currently sitting on my shelves at the end of the previous year. I'm always bringing in new books, and sometimes I prioritize the new books over books that I've had for a little bit of time, and I wanted to kind of use Buzzword as a way to prioritize some of those books that are sitting on my shelves going, hey, what about me? Read me. So that's what I'm gonna do. Let's jump in and I'll tell you the 12 books I'm gonna read for this year. So the first prompt was for January, and it is life or death, and it is to pick a book with either the word life or the word death in the title. I have decided to go with My Ex-Life by Stephen Macaulay. This is a book that I ended up picking up at a little free library sometime last year. I don't remember exactly when, but it was in really good condition in the little free library, and it also sounded really interesting. So I picked it up. This follows David. David's boyfriend just broke up with him. His house that he is renting is being sold, and he has to move out of it, and his life is kind of falling apart. All of a sudden, during all of this turmoil, he hears back from Julie, who is his best friend from, I think, high school or college. They haven't talked to each other in a very long time, and it's kind of odd that Julie kind of comes back into his life at this time. Julie has an Airbnb that she's running out of her seaside home, and David decides to come move in and live with Julie and kind of help her with some of the work that needs to be done on the Airbnb. I think he needs to put on a new roof, and various things need to happen, and they kind of form this odd relationship of going back to a previous person that was in your life and seeing kind of what life would have been like if maybe you had made some different choices. So February Buzzword, I'm breaking my rules a little bit, and I'm actually not reading a book from my shelves because in February, the prompt was verb. And in February, my most anticipated release of next year comes out, and I have it pre-ordered, so it's going to be on its way to me as soon as it is released, and that is Finley Donovan Jumps the Gun. This is the third book in the Finley Donovan series, and I am so excited to read this. I have not read the synopsis of this book, and I'm not going to. I want to know absolutely nothing except the cliffhanger from the second book. That is all I want to know. I want to go into this book completely blind and enjoy it for all that El Cosamato has written it to be. For March, the buzzword was secret, and I decided to pick a book that is on my These Books Will Self-Destruct video I did about a month ago, and that was The Husband's Secret by Liane Moriarty. I have read one Liane Moriarty, and I didn't love it. This has been sitting on my shelves for a while. I put it on that list to self-destruct at the end of the year, and this is a good way to ensure that I actually read it. This follows Cecilia. She is in her attic one day and finds an envelope from her husband that says it should only be opened in the event of his death. She's nosy. She wants to know what is in the letter, and she looks. And quite a big secret is revealed to her, and she has to decide what she's going to do with this. Is she going to hold this secret and protect her family, or is she going to tell people this secret? Who knows? I will know in March. For April, the buzzword prompt was emotions, and I decided to pick up So Happy For You. Again, this is another book that I picked up at a little free library. I believe it was even part of a video that I did not that long ago. And this is by Cecilia Lasky. This follows two best friends, Ellie and Robin. They have been best friends for a long time. They have gone through a lot of life changes together and a lot of hard things together. And now Ellie is getting married. She asked Robin to be her maid of honor. Robin is not really wanting to participate in a wedding and still decides to say yes because they love Ellie. But very quickly, it seems like everyone in this wedding party is out to get Robin, and Robin starts really regretting the decision to be Ellie's maid of honor. I don't know what goes on exactly, but this bouquet is on fire, so I expect hectic things to be going down, and I'm quite excited to read this. May is flavors, and I'm actually really excited for my choice for flavors, and it is The Chicken Sisters. I have had this book on my TBR for a very long time. I only recently got a copy of it, but it has been on my radar for a while, and I'm very excited that I finally get to read this. And I stand by that chicken is a flavor because I can buy chicken flavored ramen. I can also buy roast chicken flavored Lay's chips in Canada. So if you disagree, I'm sorry, it's a flavor. That's all I can tell you. So this follows two warring chicken families. They each own chicken restaurants in Kansas, and they have been warring for 3 generations of whose chicken is best. Sometime recently, one of 2 sisters from one family married one of the boys from the other family and has switched sides and switched chicken restaurants. Food Wars, the TV show, comes to town, and the 2 sisters that are now on opposite sides of this chicken wars are now fighting to compete for this $100,000 prize. It's very Romeo and Juliet meets chicken. How could I not want to read this? For June, we have the word other. And for this one, I have decided to read Abby Waxman's Other People's Houses. This follows Frances Bloom as she starts to find out all of her neighbors' secrets in her tiny suburban area. And I'm excited to read this. I have fallen in love with Abby Waxman's writing style over the last year and a half, and I'm very excited to pick up another one. For July, we have weather-related words, and I decided to pick another book off my These Books Will Self-Destruct TBR, and that is The Cult on Fog Island. This is a translated work that I am very excited about, but for some reason it has been sitting on my shelf for a very long time. And I figured if I put it in that list, I would actually finally pick it up. I think I've been avoiding it because it is so chunky, but it does sound really interesting, and I am excited to read it. This is basically a cult story, as you can tell. This follows Sophia. She meets Francis, who I believe is the leader of this New Age movement set on this island. And no phones are allowed. They're severed from the mainland. There's electric fences all around this island. And I'm excited to see what kind of cult vibes are in here and what is going on this island. For August, we have Body Parts, and I have decided that I need to read this series. I have been saying I'm going to start this series for a while, and this is the time. This is the prompt. It is Wheel of Time and Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. I'm finally going to start Wheel of Time. I'm going to do it. It's going to be a buzzword. I'm doing it. I have been saying I'm going to start Wheel of Time pretty much since the TV series came out, and I probably wanted to read it before that, but that kind of motivated me to actually start getting the copies on my shelves, and I was going to read it before the TV series came out, and you can see how that turned out, but I'm going to read it now. I am. I'm telling you. Keep me accountable. I'm going to read this. We are on to September, where the buzzword was game-related words. I decided just to go with the word game because I had a book that fit that, and that's what I'm going with. And that's The Marriage Game. This follows Layla, and her whole life has fallen apart. So she decides to move back home with her family, and her dad offers her an office space above his restaurant to start her own company. She's going to be an entrepreneur. She's going to take control of her life and start this company. Her dad is so nice to let her have this office space, but little does Layla know that there's a condition her father did not tell her about this office space, and it's that he has set her up on a ton of blind dates, and she has to go on them. And so enters Sam, who is the CEO of a company. And this is a contemporary romance, so romance ensues. For October, we had the word magic. I know that we could use magic related words, but I wanted to do the challenge of actually using the word magic. And I did have a book on my shelves that had the word magic in it. And that was Kristen Hanna's Magic Hour. I got this at a library discard sale probably almost 2 years ago, and I still haven't read it. And I love Kristen Hanna, so like why, I do not know. I'm gonna read it now though. So this is set near the Olympia National Forest, and it is a dense forest, and all of a sudden a 6-year-old child just appears in this forest. They find her, they don't know where she has come from, and she is speechless and alone, and she offers no clue as to her identity or any hint of her past. What is happening? I cannot wait to know. I just want to know. November, the buzzword was good, and I've decided to do A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. I still have not read this series. I feel like I am one of the few people who have not at least started this series. So I'm going to start this series this year. I've already talked to Rainey, my dear friend Rainey. We are going to buddy read this, and we are going to do it for Buzzword. This follows a girl named Pip. She has decided to look into a closed case for I believe a school project, and decides to start basically a true crime podcast. I know there's podcast elements in here, and I will be listening to the audiobook to get the full experience of that. And this closed case has been solved because it is closed, but Pip starts to discover things that maybe lead to believe that there were mistakes made in the case, and I'm excited to dive in because I love true crime, and any books with true crime tend to be A+ books for me. I'm finally gonna read it. We have finally made it to the last month of Buzzword, and that is sound related words. I had to scour my shelves a little bit hard for this one, but I did find a little mass market paperback that was sitting on my shelves that I have no idea when I got it, but I do know that I do like this author's thrillers, so I am excited to pick it up, and it is Hush by Nancy Bush. I started a series about 2 years ago by Nancy Bush, really enjoyed it. They're very intense. I would check the trigger warnings. They tend to have a little bit of graphicness to them. So this follows Kobe and some of her friends. She, in her senior year, goes to a campfire with her friends. They share their secrets, and something kind of tragic happens. 12 years later, Kobe comes back to town to see one of those friends, Yvette, and is met at a party with Yvette's sister's lifeless body. What is going on? How do these two instances 12 years apart have anything to do with each other? And the detective, Danner Lockwood, has to figure that out. I'm very excited to read this. I know that I enjoy this author's thrillers, and I'm glad that I've gotten this on Buzzword for this year. And like I said, it's been on my shelf for a while because I have no recollection of getting this book, so it's probably been there a while. That is the end of my choices for the 2023 Buzzwordathon. What is the book that you are most excited you fit into your buzzwords? Let me know. Have you read any of these? Let me know that as well. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.